Guys, we'll start in 2 minutes.
हेलो वसीम सर, कैसे हो?
Okay.
हाँ,
Let us start here. This is the first batch actually, which I don't start at 9. People are getting late day by day. Okay, I had to start a very important session today, so I was. Okay, so this is mostly stakeholder management is done by product owner or product management team. But sometimes Scrum Masters are also required to play this role. So you may or you may not get a lot of questions on stakeholder management, but we can skip it also. But I am assuming that you may get an interview where you will be asked if you do the stakeholder management. So if you look at the job description, sometimes they will write stakeholder management also, or client management or stakeholder management. In those cases, if they are expecting you to handle clients or stakeholder management, that's a very good role. Anybody who is handling client and is able to do it can easily create dependency. And it is, if the dependency is there, only then you can blackmail, you can only blackmail then for a higher package or higher increments. If you don't have a dependency on your team, then you are useless. So there is only one golden rule in corporate, which is to create dependency. And it is easiest way of creating the dependency is if you are a client facing role. AI भी नहीं ले सकता वो role. And if you have a good rapport with the client, you are very tough to replace. So that is why I will dig little deep on the stakeholder management, because if you get into a role which is client facing or which involves stakeholder management, and if you do well, then you will have a very, very flourishing career. Okay. Okay, so question number one today is, who are the stakeholders? That is the first question. So in stakeholder management, the first question you have to answer. So step by step we will go. So how do you do how do you do stakeholder management? First question is, how do you identify who your stakeholders are? Please take a guess. How do you know who are my stakeholders? How do you know that? So yeah, go ahead. Take your guesses.
Yeah, people are impacting to the project. Those are our stakeholder.
Okay. Any other definition? Who is my stakeholder? If you are handling a product, who is my stakeholder?
Who is interested in
Beautiful. Anybody and everybody who is directly or indirectly interested in my product. So anybody and everybody who is directly or indirectly interested in my product, he or she is impacted by your product. He can influence your product. He has the authority to authority or interest to on the outcomes. So how do you identify who is your stakeholder? What are we doing? We are doing stakeholder management. Why are we doing in this detail? We are doing in this detail because if you get into a stakeholder management role or a client facing role, your career is better off. AI proof and lucrative, and why I want to do this, and because you will remember me for life if you get into this role. So who is a stakeholder? Anybody and everybody who is interested in the success or failure of your product, who is impacted by the, if your product succeeds, he is gaining something. If your product fails, he also has a stake in it. So anybody and everybody who has a direct or an indirect role in your product is your stakeholder. There are internal and external stakeholders. So let us say you have a team. Who can be your internal stakeholders? Product owner? Yes or no? Is a
Yes.
product owner my stakeholder or not?
Yes. Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes. You can disagree with me also. So developers, are they stakeholder?
Yes.
Again, internal stakeholder. Internal means within the organization. So PO is the biggest stakeholder. Developers,
Yes.
testers,
Yes.
designers, my sales team, my marketing team, people who are providing me laptop support or network support, my IT team, then
yes,
legal team. So all these are examples of internal stakeholders. What we are doing, stakeholder management. Step one, how do we identify my stakeholders? Simple definition, anybody and everybody who is directly or indirectly impacted or interested in my product is my stakeholder. Internal stakeholder, PO is my biggest internal stakeholder. Developers, testers, designers, sales team, marketing team, legal team, IT support team. They are your helping hand in your day-to-day operations. Then external stakeholders. Biggest external stakeholders are customers or end users. Customers could be organizations which are consuming your product. End users are, of course, people who are actually using your, then regulators like RBI or HIPAA or whatever. Then there are partners, then there could be vendors. Partners or vendors are different. Then there could be sponsors or investors. So these are my external stakeholders, my customers, my end users, my regulators, my vendors, my investors, my partners. They can influence product goal. They are interested. They are actual users of the product. They are the people who are going to put money. They are interested in return on investment. They are the so like HIPAA or HIPAA is for US healthcare. This thing. If you talk about India for a financial domain, RBI is your who regulates the share and all the financial market? I forgot that name. I forgot. RBI is one. So,
GDPR,
hmm?
GDPR, something GDPR, right?
Yeah, I don't. It's skipping my mind.
Federal
SEBI, sir,
SEBI,
SEBI.
SEBI.
Oh, see.
Okay. So, internal and external stakeholders. Is this clear? Who are the internal and who are external? Okay. Then, if you don't know, if you go to an organization, you don't know your stakeholders, how you will know? Who owns the product? Who funds it? Who are your sponsors? Who are the people who are putting money? Who uses the product? So there are downstream teams, there are upstream teams. So let us say you are producing some data. That data is being used by some other team. So that is your downstream team. Or you are consuming data from some other team. That is your upstream team. So there are some teams called upstream teams. There are sub teams called downstream teams. There are teams who uses your product. There are other teams who they are producing something and you are using them. So either way it can happen. So question is, first, who funds your product, who uses your product, who is complaining or praising you when something breaks? जो चिल्ला रहा है, who is, that's your stakeholder. Anybody who is escalating you is your stakeholder. Anybody who is putting emails of appreciation, those are your. Then who is putting constraint? Your legal teams, your compliance teams, your security teams. Then who is supporting your delivery? Your DevOps team, your infrastructure team, your IT support, all of them are your vendors. Is this clear to all of us? Once you, are you doing stakeholder management? If in the job description it says, if they say, have you done it? Yes, I have done it. Because it enhances your chances of getting that job. How have you done it? I identify my stakeholders. Who are my stakeholders? Internal and external stakeholders. Then you create, then there are 4 things that you have to find out about a particular stakeholder. Okay, so even before that, so first of all, you are clear who are your stakeholders. Okay, we are talking about stakeholders, but who are these stakeholders? These are our stakeholders. Okay, now how do we, so now next step is we have to create a stakeholder matrix. What is a stakeholder matrix? We find out who has power or influence, who has an interest in your product. So first is power. Who has the most power in influencing your product? Who decides what is to be done, when it is to be done? So that's power. Then interest, how involved they are, how interested they are in your product. Then needs, what are the outcomes or information they are expecting? So in power, need, interest, and communication style. These are the 4 things which we need to create a stakeholder matrix. So I will give you an example that will make you very clear. So for example, product owner, how much power he has to influence your product? Low, medium, or high?
Hi.
High. Do all of you agree to it? That stakeholder, the product owner, has a very high influence. He decides, yeah, he will apply Moscow, he will find out which epics or which features to be done. He has a very high interest and high power also. Very high power and interest also high. He is interested on a day-to-day basis. Correct? He works with the team and he is interested in the outcomes on a day-to-day basis. That's his primary job. He's interested on a day. So high power, high interest. What are his needs? His needs are, he needs to deliver features on time to the stakeholders. What are his needs? What does he want? What does a product owner want from the product? That features are delivered.
Delivery.
That's what his needs are. He wants to create a product. Every product has a feature. He is building 10 features. He says we need 3 features in release 1, 2 features in release 2, 3 features in release 3, like that. What does he want? He wants features to be delivered. And what is his communication style? Communication style is he's involved in your day-to-day events, daily stand-up, sprint review, backlog grooming, then even retrospectives at times. So that is his communication style. He will be there in daily stand-ups, refinements, reviews, everybody, everything. Okay. Is this clear to everybody? Product owner has a high power and a high interest. What are his needs? To deliver features on time. What is his communication style? He is engaged in day-to-day basis and in all the events of your system. Okay. Let me give another example. Your chief information officer or your CTO, how much power he has in influencing your team? High. He has a very high influence. If he says no, instead of Java, use .NET, you will have to use .NET. If he says no, we can't use Face ID, it is against our company's policy, you can't use Face ID. So he has a very high power. Interest, medium. He is not interested on a day-to-day basis. CTO will not be interested in your team on a day-to-day basis. He will be interested in a sprint. Every sprint, what are you doing? He will be interested. So interest level is not high. It is not even low. It is not as if he doesn't care. He cares, but on a sprint level. On a sprint level, what is your progress towards your features? So his interest level is medium. Power is high, but interest is medium. Correct? Power is high, but interest is medium. What are his needs? What are you doing on a sprint level? If there are any risks or not. If there is any delivery risk, let us say your CI/CD pipeline is not working, or you don't have enough resources. There is any risk to the delivery, he's interested in that. What are his interests? His interests are, what is the summarized reports? What are you doing on a sprint to sprint level, on an epic level, on a feature level, what is happening? And what are the deliveries? Communication style maybe monthly, maybe after every sprint. It depends on the organization. But typically after sprint, if not after sprint, then if not every release, then monthly. But typically monthly or after every sprint. What will be your strategy? You will keep him informed. If there are any major changes to your product backlog, sprint backlog, your metrics, all of these you will be sharing with this person. Okay, is this clear? So this is how I'll give you more examples. So this is how typically we do a stakeholder management. We identify who our stakeholders are. Then as a Scrum Master or as a product owner or whosoever is doing the stakeholder management, he will create a matrix. Who are my stakeholders? These are my primary stakeholders. PO. How much influence he has? High. How much interest he has? High. How will I engage him? In all the events. What are his needs? These are his needs. Then CIO or CTO, this. QA manager. How much power he has? Your QA lead or QA manager. How much power? Low, medium, or high?
Medium.
Medium.
Yeah.
He can stop your release. He can say, there are too many critical bugs. I will not let you release. But he cannot decide, okay, this feature I will do or I will not do. He does not have a very high influence. So also you can't say. He can still stop your release. He can still stop your stories. He can decide on your testing strategies. So medium is his power. Interest?
Interest high.
He is interested in every story. Because if the story is not clearing the DOD or if there are issues in the story, he's interested. So what are his needs? You need to provide him testable stories. He needs to know how many bugs are there, how many high priority bugs are there, low priority bugs are there, critical priority there, how many pending. like that. So QA manager, high interest but medium power. What are his need? Testable stories and bugs backlog. Then what? How do you communicate with this guy? Weekly basis. Because on a per weekly basis, typically organizations send the bugs report to the management. And on a weekly basis, you will also communicate, okay, these many stories came to you, these many pending, like that. You can have that discussion with the QA manager or the QA lead. You are handling the stakeholders. How are you handling PO? You are clear. How are you handling CTO or CIO? You are clear. डरना मत, अगर नौकरी ऐसी मिले where you have to say you are handling stakeholder, छोड़ना लंबी लंबी, इसमें कोई टेंशन नहीं. This is how you do it. अरे क्या करोगे? If the job involves you to handle stakeholder management, क्या बोलोगे? नहीं, I have not done it. No, यार, you will say you have done it. Okay, first interview you will not clear, but second interview of this kind you can clear. Third, 100%. जब जाओगे कैसे करोगे? These are the steps. You will struggle for 10-15 days, then you will pick it up. The other ways you can be scared. मैंने नहीं किया, मैं नहीं करूंगा. ठीक है, फिर बैठे रहो. What else, यार? You have to take risk, right, in life. That's how it is. And don't worry. This is how I for a very long time initially in my career, I had never done the stakeholder management. But then I got a chance. I struggled for a couple of months, and I mean, I did not even know all of this stuff. So I'm giving you all of this information. This is exactly how do you do stakeholder management. If you can tell this in the interview, you are good enough. And then on the job, you will learn these things. There are a lot of politics, a lot of these things, but you can learn if you know the basics of these things. So my only problem is if there is a job which asks you whether you know stakeholder management, your answer should be yes. That's all. Because if their primary need is stakeholder management, they will not hire you if you say no. Okay. Now, QA manager, you know. What about end users? How much power they have?
High.
Low power, but high
Interest,
interest maybe.
interest is high, but power is low. People will only create things that bring money.
But client is the one who can decide everything, right?
Client, not the end users.
End user who is using the project.
Who is
Oh,
using
yes.
the actual product. They don't have a very high power.
Understood.
Interest is high. What they want a usable product. How do you communicate with these guys? You send them surveys, they will send you support tickets, like that. You understood this, right? So, okay. Then I think these 3, 4, 5 people are enough for you to know. So you can create this matrix and high risk. So your regulators, your legal team, your security team, those are high risk stakeholders. If you mess up with your security team, if you mess up with your CTO, it will be a big trouble. QA manager, medium risk. End users, low risk. You just have to update them. This is the downtime. These are the updates coming, like that. So, okay. So I think this is clear to you guys. Is there any difficulty so far in understanding till now? You are clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, where the DBA will fit in here? Like they are not part of the actual development team, right?
So DBA is your IT support, correct? Or your support team.
Yes.
So you tell me how much interest they have?
Medium.
High. They are involved with you on a day-to-day basis.
It's okay. High.
High. What is the power they have?
Power, I can say medium.
Medium or low, even low.
Mhm.
They don't have much influence in what you do,
Mhm.
right? How do you communicate with them? In How do you communicate with the infrastructure teams? Through emails,
Through Jira.
through Jira, through pings, like that. How do you escalate if you have to escalate? Through Scrum of Scrums or some organizational forums.
Okay.
You got it. So
Sir,
typically you will create a matrix for all your, so what are my internal stakeholders? What are my internal, external and internal? And for each stakeholder, how much power he has, how much interest he has, what are his needs, and how I will communicate to these guys. So that is how you will form a strategy to deal with your stakeholders. This is one. Now, another aspect to this is, let us say there are conflicts. Now there are multiple stakeholders. Each stakeholder is saying my feature. There is a conflict. How you are going to deal with this conflict? First of all, you have to identify that there is a conflict. Watch out if there is silence. People are skipping ceremonies. There is tension. There are escalation emails. Those kind of things. So then you can ask them, boss, you seem disappointed with the team. Is there something we can do about it? So if look for early signs of issues from the stakeholders. If they are skipping the ceremonies, if they are not responding to the emails, if there is sarcasm, if there is tension in the reviews, if they are writing escalatory emails, then ask them, how do you think my team is doing? Do you think we have any issues? You seem disappointed. Can we do something? Then you have to have one-on-one discussions with them, find out what are the issues, and then deal with accordingly. So recognize that there is a conflict. That is the first thing with these guys. Then the other thing is that you have to get into a discussion with PO and the stakeholders if they have a conflict. So second step is PO and stakeholders. You need to facilitate a meeting between them and do a prioritization of the backlog. Either using WSFJ or using Moscow or Kano, does not matter which method, but some method you are going to use. So bring everyone together, do the backlog prioritization, find the business value of each feature, and then communicate transparently which feature is going to be picked up and why. So that is how you handle the conflicts. Okay. So coming back to, again, number one, you have recognized your stakeholders. Number two, you have analyzed your stakeholders by building a matrix. So stakeholder management, recognize your stakeholders, analyze your stakeholders. Then step three, communicate transparently and regularly. How do you communicate with your stakeholders and transparently and regularly? Invite them to your sprint reviews. Share the product roadmap. Again, I am coming back to the larger picture. Step one, you have recognized your stakeholders. Step two, you have analyzed your stakeholders by creating this matrix. Number three, you have to communicate with them transparently and regularly. How? Invite them to the stakeholder, invite them to sprint reviews. Okay. Share the product roadmap or the release roadmap. Use dashboards to tell them the progress. So to CTO, to your CIO, to your management, to the director of sales, to the director of marketing, to other customers, you have to share your dashboard, which shows how many stories, what are the total bugs. I will show you how to create the dashboards also. Then do a monthly sync up meeting with these guys, depending on who, for with QA manager weekly, with the stakeholders monthly, build up some schedule. Then this is step 3 is clear. Step 4. Step 4 would be your this thing, expectations. Set clear expectations, which means how are you closing the story? What is your definition of done? How are you monitoring the quality? What is my sprint goal? Before the starting of the sprint, you are sending your sprint goal to everybody. And you are inviting the stakeholders in the backlog refinement calls also. So how do you, so we say set the expectations, set the expectations, set the expectations. But how the hell you set expectations? You set the expectations by using DoD. Okay, boss, these are the things. Code review, unit testing, no critical bug, UAT testing cleared, automation, regression. All, see, these are the things we are doing to make sure the product is of high quality. This is how you set the expectations. Then another way of setting the expectation is telling them beforehand, these are my sprint goals. This is the feature we are building. These are the stories we are doing. Then another way is engaging them in the backlog refinement itself. In the backlog refinement itself, developers and testers and PO and the stakeholders, they discuss what are they going to build and what are they going to test. So there is clarity there. We have already set the expectations there. This is what we are going to build. Then we are showing them in the sprint review. We told you we are going to do this. Now we are showing you we have produced this based on my DoD. So DoD, sprint review, and backlog refinement. These are the 3 ways you can have clear expectation. This is how you can avoid scope creep. How do you avoid scope creep? They are there in sprint review. We have a DoD and we have a backlog refinement, engagement or participation by them. Then of course, another step is how do you handle conflicts, which I have already told you. Bring everybody together, do a backlog grooming. I am not saying story grooming. I am saying backlog grooming. So backlog categorization or backlog prioritization with stakeholders and the PO, that you have to do. And then finalizing the sprint goals with them, finalizing the release goals with them, that also can happen in these calls. Then take their feedback. So taking feedback is, I think, which step are we on? 6th or 7th, whatever. So stakeholder feedback. One, of course, you take it in the sprint review. Then you have monthly sync ups with them. There is stakeholder retrospective also we can do. That's a bonus I'm telling you now. You can run a stakeholder. So if you guys are thinking this is too much to handle, yes, this is an extra session today. For 80% of your interviews, this is not needed. But only if you want really good jobs, if you handle stakeholder management or customer, then as a bonus, I am explaining you all this. If you just want a plain Scrum Master job, then all of this is not required. This is beyond that role. But if you want a senior Scrum Master role or a very good plum role, then they will ask you this. Okay. So how do you take stakeholder feedback? You take it through their review, what you call sprint review, and monthly sync ups with them, backlog grooming calls or refinements with them. Then another point I'm trying to tell you is stakeholder retrospectives. So you can, if you have 6 or 7 or 8 stakeholders, you can run a retrospectives. In the last release, What went well? What did not go well? What are your suggestions? Same logic, same thing, but instead of the team, you are doing it with the stakeholders. I read it through there was some organization in Singapore who were doing it through a white paper. I read it, then I did a little bit of research. I also applied it. So that is how I came to know of stakeholder retrospectives. So you can use feedback forms. After every release, definitely this should be done. So how do you calculate satisfaction? There is something called NPS. NPS is Net Promoter Score. So stakeholder satisfaction score, feature adoption rate, feedback cycle time. These are some of the things. I'll not get too deep into this, otherwise this will be. And then another thing is coaching stakeholders on the agile mindset. Teach them the value of incremental delivery. We cannot deliver you the entire feature at once. Break down the feature into small sub functionalities or stories, and then review these stories after every sprint. And after 4, 5, 6 sprints, we can deliver the entire feature will be delivered, but based on your feedback. So tell them the value of incremental delivery. Tell them the value of focus versus volume. Don't look for a lot of features. Look for features which bring most business value. Teach them this aspect. Instead of saying do 10 features, do 6 features, but features which are mostly used by your customers. Identify the features which are likely going to be used by more than 80 or 85% of your customer base. Don't work on features which will be used just by 2% or 4% of your customer base. Teach them the value versus volume. Help them. Let's concentrate on value rather than volume. Tell them why mid-sprint changes are a problem. Tell them why if you don't have a priority, you have a problem. So this coaching is very important. Easier said than done, but if you can coach these people that mid-sprint changes are a problem. Last minute changes will destroy your products. Yes, you can adjust 5%, 10%, but beyond that, no. Okay. I think we are good, right? So what are the steps? Identify your stakeholders, analyze their needs and influence, set up communication channels, clarify expectations, facilitate conflicts effectively, stakeholder feedback, and education about agile. So these are 7 or 8 steps. How do you do stakeholder management? You can do a little bit research also, go through the sessions again. So this is how stakeholder management, if you want to clear PwC or a Deloitte, that's your luck, but reasonable organizations you can clear. They don't demand too much. You can easily clear those things. Google or Amazon, you may not be able to clear now, but at least you have the basics. If you work for a year or two, even you can clear those sorts of companies also. Don't scroll too much Instagram. Okay, scroll it for half an hour. Yeah, what is there? Okay. But you understood, right? So this is how you handle stakeholders. Any questions, concerns, you can now ask me in the next 5 minutes. Either you are very clear or you are stumped by this. But no, don't worry about it. So you have to 100% say that you have handled stakeholders. And it's not very difficult. Go through these sessions 2 or 3 times, note down all these steps and practice it 1 or 2 times, 3 times. Then. Because it is always advantageous for a Scrum Master to handle clients. Okay, are we good? You can ask questions next time also. You can go through this. Can I go to next topic, conflict management? Kiran, you are...
Yeah.
Yes, Wasim sir. You are asking something. You are mute here. I think he has a mic issue. No worries, you can. Oh, by the way, you guys have given your mock interviews or not? Or you want a bullet from... You want to die, don't you? Arey,
Sir, I
please
gave
give mock. Huh?
on Saturday. I yes.
Did anybody give mock interview in the last week? No? People want to die. What can I do? Oh, you gave. Okay. I will tell in the court, my batch that wants to die. What can I do? I am just fulfilling their...
Sir, I have scheduled it actually.
Please, yeah, please. This week, please, 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 please. I beg you, please. Okay. And this is how you have to get your Jira updates also. You have to beg, 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 beg. Okay. Never raise your voice with your team. Okay. That's the only way. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you have to, but be very strict in terms of telling the results of their actions, but be very polite always. Okay. Then next is your conflict. Okay. So conflict management, again, I'm going to tell you step by step. So what is the logical or organized way of handling the conflicts within your team? So again, like with stakeholder conflicts, step one remains the same. Are they quiet in the daily stand-up? Are they taunting developers and QAs? Are they taunting each other? Oh, critical bug. It will take time. There seems to be an issue. If two people are not talking to each other, signs of conflict. So that is why daily stand-up, even if the team is mature, Scrum Master still needs to be there because he has to watch the signs of conflict. And typically conflicts are there in every team, but you just have to manage it properly. And you would have find in your respective, when you in your experience in real-time basis, lot of times the conflicts between the team have derailed the products or the projects. And nobody cares about these conflicts. They let them grow. And that is where the problem is. You have to watch out for the early signs. If people don't come in the ceremonies, if they stay quiet, they are not helpful to each other, that means there is some disagreement, there is some conflict. So how do you handle conflicts in your team? You identify these signs. That is why you are a good Scrum Master. Because over a period of these years, you have seen that you have the knack of picking up these early signs. If you can find these signs, then you can take some action. So you can ask these people, you seem quiet. Is everything all right? You are not attending this meeting. Is everything fine? Do you think you are not heard? Is there, and one-on-ones discussion. Never point out somebody, hey Deepak, you were not there in the retrospective. Any problems do you have? Arey yaar. He will never tell you anything. Be sympathetic, Deepak. You were not there in the retrospective. Do you think your suggestions are not heard, or what is the issue? Let them find them. Okay. So let us say a developer. So in my experience, sir, a developer stopped attending the refinement session. When I inspected, we found out the PO, he says the PO does not respect my input. If I try some modification or change in the acceptance criteria, he doesn't listen. Then I had a meeting with Dev and the PO and was able to clear out the miscommunication. The PO, based on the developer's input, has to negotiate the acceptance criteria, And of course, the developer has to ask these questions. So that is one example of how you can identify a conflict early and find out a solution. So that is step number one is you identify if there are early signs. How do you find early signs? Various meetings, various indications are there. Second, you have to classify the conflict. What kind of conflict it is? Because it is the kind of conflict that if you identify the conflict, then only you can give a solution. So for example, there is a task conflict. PO wants to do feature, developer wants to fix the technical debt first. Task conflict. Feature, PO will say feature, developer will say technical improvement. How do you fix it? That we have already spoken step by step. If it's a task conflict. Then process conflict. Process conflict is dev team says Kanban or continuous flow. PO says no, we will work in sprints. Or team says critical, we will fix medium priority bugs also. QA says medium priority bugs also needs to be fixed. PO says no, I want a fast delivery. Medium priority, no use. QA says no, I will not give a sign off. If medium priority bugs are also raised, they will raise a question on the quality of the product. There is a conflict. Now, what process-based conflict? What are the processes? Again, you have to mediate, you have to sort out, explain. If it is a faster delivery, PO is willing to take that risk. He is willing to give an email. He is willing to, product manager is also okay. Everybody in the organization is okay. Then QA, explain it to the QA manager that if you want the speed of the delivery and it is fine to reach out to the customer first, and rather than waiting for a perfect product, you are willing to hit the market first, and then later on, as you grow the customer base, then you will refine your product. So if that is your strategy, explain it to the QA manager, and then he will. So task conflicts, process conflicts. Then there are relationship conflicts. Two people are not getting along with each other. There are ego clashes. PC sir doesn't like Deepak. It happens in life, right? For whatever reasons, there are some people you will not like. He could be because he's a South Indian or a North Indian or a X person, Y person. We don't like, and you can't do anything about it. But as a Scrum Master, what do you do? Obviously, racism or regionalism is not promoted by any organization. But in real life, these things happen. So how do you handle it? Of course, you talk to these people and you explain them that. So let us say QA says, oh, developer does not like me. Or I don't like the developer. I don't like him. I don't want to work with this guy and all. So you have to explain them that in every team you will find people who you do not like. So professionalism is that you still get along with these people, you follow a process, you follow professionalism. Because are you a kid? You are not going to end up working with people you like. This is not how the world works. So what is a mature way of dealing with it? The mature way of dealing with it is that have working agreements, respect those, make rules. The rule is QA. So QA says, this developer does not like me, he will escalate. Okay, boss, have rules. If you raise a bug, whether that bug is critical or not critical, let's set up a process. So you raise that bug, PO, developer, and QA, all of them sit together, and PO has to say this is critical, developer has to say critical, PO has to explain, QA has to explain. If everybody is in agreement, then it is a critical bug. So you take out the personal judgment out of it. And this process is there for everybody. So whether they like you or not doesn't matter. The process remains the same. So these working agreements, these processes help eliminate personal ego clashes. So this is how you have to. And profession, see, let us say I am doing very well in the particular team, but I don't like 2 or 3 people. So what? I am working with 10 people today. Tomorrow I will be working with 20, more growth 30, more growth 100. Out of 100 people, not everybody is going to like you. Then are you going to be stuck in one role for your entire life? No. You need to learn to work with people whom you do not like. That is how those are the people who grow, who do well in life, people who have a mechanism to deal with people who they don't get along in life. So that's a skill that everybody has to learn. So as a Scrum Master, you will suggest working agreements or rules on all the things, and we have to respect those rules in order to work with each other. Is this clear how you? अरे ये सब भाषण देना है, रियल लाइफ में लोग लड़ने दो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. So explain them, this is the right thing to do. Whether they do the right thing or not, don't take it to your heart. Despite you saying everything and anything, some people you will not be able to change. So what are you going to do in those situations? That also we'll get into. Okay, so number 1, identify the conflicts early, signs of conflict in various events. Then classification, task conflict, process conflict, relationship conflict. Then role conflict. Role conflict is PO says, I will do the estimation. He reaches out. How many story points? When will you do this story? He has no role of doing this. It is Scrum Master who facilitates the estimation. Typically, you will find a lot of POs wanting to get into Scrum Master's role. Again, you have to set clear-cut boundaries. You have to educate them on agile principles and Scrum principles. And we have to set clear-cut responsibilities of who does what. So it is tech lead's job to approve the code reviews, unit testing checklist and all that. QA manager, what does he want? PO, what does... So every role, clear-cut responsibilities should be established so that there are no role-based conflicts. Then resource conflicts. Shared resources. QA. Kiran is the same QA for 2 teams. Team A also wants Kiran, team B also wants Kiran. How do you fix it? Ideally, FTEs, full-time employees. If there are shared resources, then before the start of the sprint, have a clear allocation. Okay, I need 70% allocation for this sprint. I have critical stories with Kiran. So he needs to be with us for 7 days. Is that okay? The other Scrum Master or other team says yes. If there is a conflict, then you reach to the release manager or some other and find out a solution. But before your sprint, you need to know if there are critical or high priority stories with your shared resource and find a solution. Proactive approach. Okay. So this is, so how do you handle conflicts? You look for early signs. Then you identify what kind of conflict it is. Based on the kind of conflict, what we can do about it. Then number 3, creating a psychologically safe space for conversation. Stay neutral. So how do you create safe space? Stay neutral. Do not take sides. In any circumstances, do not take sides. You cannot have your favorite developer or your favorite testers. This is a professional place. You are not there to make friends. Everybody is a friend. To you, everybody is an enemy. Anybody who completes your stories is your friend. Anybody who does not complete your story is your enemy. So everybody is your friend and enemy. So stay calm and stay neutral. That's the first thing. Second thing, never ever have any blame game in front of everybody. Any sensitive topic, one-on-one discussions. Always. Even if somebody has done nothing, zero output, please never blame anybody in public. Explain to him the situation in one-on-ones. So how do you create psychologically safe environment? Number one-on-one feedbacks, private setting. In conflicts especially, private settings. Neutral. Third, non-violent communication, NVC. So how do you stay neutral? By using NVC, non-violent communication. So let us say Venkatesh sir is disrupting everybody in the daily stand-up or sprint review. He is not letting anybody speak. He is disrupting. So you cannot say, Venkatesh sir, you are being disruptive. That is violent behavior. That is a violent statement. You are not doing bugs. You are blaming that guy. You cannot use, instead of saying you are being disruptive, say, I have noticed that the conversation, whatever conversation we get into gets tense. Can we talk about it? Or you have, great thing is you have too many inputs. Can we discuss how to give inputs in a better way, so that others also get a chance to give their inputs? So you are not doing bugs, or you are not doing code review. Rather than saying you are not doing code review, say there seems to be an issue in the code review process. Let us talk about it. So if Deepak is not doing code review, Deepak is just submitting his stories. He is not doing DOD. He's not putting DOD comments. Deepak, why are you not putting DOD comments? Why are you not doing this? This is violent communication. Violent communication never leads to behavioral change. So Deepak, looks like there is a issue with the process of DOD. Looks like the updation of DOD in your stories, the process seems to have an issue. Can we talk about it? And then of course, one-on-one, you can tell these are the stories. There are no DOD comments. What can we do to help you and in putting up these stories? Because we need DOD comments because of these reasons. Be honest and transparent. These are the reasons we need it. So what do you think? What can we do to? So typically people will respond. If you are nice to these people, if you explain them the reasons why you want certain action, tell them this is the advantage, this is the disadvantage. If you explain them, 80% people are reasonable. Unless they are irritated with something, they want to leave this job, they are on notice period, they will respond to your niceties and professional behavior. 20% of the cases, what are you going to do in those cases? That's a separate discussion. Yes, Abhilasha, you have a question.
Yeah, so sir, we were like talking about the blame game or non-violent things. So let me give one example in our team. Let's say if there is any production bugs comes, so the person who is the tech lead directly asks like, how did we miss that? So like being the scrum master, how I should involve. Actually, I'm not able to frame my words.
Okay. So your tech lead is blaming other developers directly in the meeting.
The tester.
The testers. Okay. Okay. So have a one-on-one conversation with them. Explain them that the worst thing for any human being is public humiliation or public disrespect. Do you agree? Most likely he will say yes. See, if I am being targeted or blamed in front of 10 or 20 people, it is the worst thing that can happen to me in the office. So do you agree? He will say yes. So in that case, first establish that what are you trying to tell him? That getting blamed in public space is the worst thing that can happen to an individual. So obviously he is going to agree to you. So how do we avoid it? So instead of saying whatever he is saying, what are the other ways of saying the same thing without offending others? So he will say, I can say this, or he can say this. And that's all you want. But it is not like you explain him now and tomorrow morning he can do it. Sometimes he will still blame because it is habit, and give him time to change his behavior. But
Okay.
explain him also. So there is a problem in this behavior. So we will do a change and we will give time for this change to happen. If the change does not happen, if this continues, then there will, what is the result of this? The result is dev team and QA will have bad relations. In that case, sprint suffers, bug suffers, productivity suffers. Ultimately, escalations will come.
Hmm.
So explain him the positive and the negative. Positive is he has took out his frustration. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. So don't tell him you are an idiot. No. Yeah, everybody will get angry at some point here. But how do you channelize this anger? Anger itself is not bad. Don't be a guru. Please don't be angry. Everybody gets angry here. But if he gets angry, then he will have, even though he may be a very good lead, but he will not get promotion, or he will not get his due. If he gets angry, then he will have negative remarks against him. People will misuse that anger against him. So how do you fix this issue? You fix this issue by controlling and changing that energy into something positive. How do you do that? You do that by saying, okay, what are the other ways of saying the same thing but without offending others? And then let's practice this, give him time and tell him what are the negatives of. If he still continues it, you will escalate. It will go to his boss. His boss is also going to give him time to change. But if this behavior is not changed in the next 1, 2, 3 months, then escalations will come. Ultimately, there might be a change of his product. But don't say it in your first one-on-one. If after second, so let us say you have a conversation in, this is, let us say, September. By October also there is no change. Another conversation. October end, no change. November, another conversation. You can see the signs. The guy is trying to change. If he is trying to change, fine, give him time. Let us say even after doing everything, the guy does not want to change. Then you tell him these are the negative things. You will go to his line manager, then his line manager. Like that, you will escalate. You will involve other folks also. And then ultimately, this will be very bad for all of us, because you are trying to protect the sprint goal. You are trying to protect the productivity. And productivity will be impacted if the relations between the dev and the QA are not cordial or positive. So that is all you can do. Some people don't care, and then they will get into a different product for all you care. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. So this is what the fourth step is. Do a constructive conversation. If two people are having a conflict, what are you going to do? Active listening. Active listening. Listening to both sides. So let us say Deepak and Pawan sir are having a conflict. You will of course do active listening. What is active listening? Listen to what they are saying and then rephrase what you have understood. Okay, Deepak, this is what you're, so you are trying to build a product, this feature using Node.js, because in your mind, Node.js will be easy on the maintainability and scalability. He says, yes, this is what I meant. Then PC sir, you are trying to use Angular because you think it will be faster, it will have less technical debts. This is what your explanation. He will say yes. Both of you so again, you cannot, who is right, who is wrong, no. So you don't take positions, you from positions to interest. So you want to, your interest is in less technical debt, your interest is in have less maintainability issues. What is the point they are trying to make? What is their interest? So you have to reframe the words. So both, and tell them both of them want the product to succeed, but you want to take different paths. So nobody is wrong, nobody is right. It's just that one guy wants to take path A, one guy wants to take path B. So why don't we get together and find some common or middle ground? So let us, you also do a spike story, you also do a spike story. And then let's sit with the team, explain your point of views, and whatever is the best for the team, let architect, other team members decide, okay, this is the best for now, and do it. And for all future disagreements, this can be a process. Or do you have any other better process? Because it is not like people will think same. People will think differently, and disagreements are healthy only. And lot of times best solutions are reached after disagreements only. So disagreements are not a problem. Problem is if we pick a fight or take it on our ego. So what do you think is the best solution in that case? Let them also come up with suggestions. If they sound reasonable, use their suggestions and do what they are saying. Okay, so so blame game. So these constructive criticisms or constructive dialogues. First is active listening, reframe the issue, and joint problem solving. How do you do a constructive dialogue? You will say, I will do a constructive dialogue if people are having conflict. How do you do constructive dialogue? Active listening, reframe the issue, and joint problem solving. These are the 3 steps. जितना बता रहा हूं उसमें से 50% भी बोल दिया इंटरव्यू में, it is good enough. Okay. Now let us give examples. Example number 1, devs versus QA. Bug blame game, which is very, very common. Dev blames QA for missing bug. QA says code was unstable or unusable. Is this very popular? Yes, every team will have this. How do you deal with it? Run a retrospective on DoD. So what should be the DoD? DoD should be that there should be no critical bugs. So what are the testing responsibilities? What is it that you are going to test? This is what I am going to test. So from the development side, what is the checklist that you are going to do? I am going to do this checklist. So, and it is a shared goal. If there are, so if QA is raising a bug, are they against the developer or they are helping? So let us say if Deepak raises a bug against PC sir, he is helping PC by, let us say that bug is not raised by PC. That bug goes to production. It impacts 40% of the users. They found out that this feature was built by PC sir and he missed this thing. That could be a very heavy escalation. Potentially, if he has 2 or 3 such escalations, he can lose his job also. So is Deepak helping him by avoiding that escalation? Clearly, yes. Rather than client finding this out, if Deepak finds out, he is helping PC. If that bug is fixed, client has a beautiful release, he gets promotion, he gets appraisal, Deepak is helping him. So we are in the same team, we are helping each other. Similarly, bug finding is not only the responsibility of QA, it is also the responsibility of dev. What if a QA misses a bug? In that case, if the dev is doing proper unit testing and code review, he can avoid that bug. Ultimately, if bugs reaches production, then you don't get appraisal, you don't get promotion, you are working in an unstable product and you can any day look for another job because that product is going to go bust. So it is in the interest of both the devs and the QAs to have less and less defects. So create a checklist of unit testing, create a checklist of QA testing, and then see whether that is enough to cover for your bugs. So if you put them in the same side, they will not quarrel. Is this explanation clear to all of you? And in reality, people think they are against me, but no. Actually, QAs are helping Devs and devs are helping you. They are on the same side. Because if the product is successful, it helps all of us. But why still people fight? There's an actual, they did a survey in, I think during Second World War, they did a survey. So I'll share sometime later. So actually, people like to take revenge. People like to blame each other. And this is how human nature works. So this is the reality of the situation. So why that happens? Because it is always the better strategy to blame others, despite everything. That is why humans do it. It is not like people are fools. It is because it is actually the best strategy. But again, you don't tell all this nonsense to these people. But okay, so let us say now another example. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking today. Next time, whatever I have explained you, I am expecting these examples to be given by you. Okay, so now let us say another popular thing, team versus stakeholders. Stakeholders say, I need a feature in 2 weeks. Team says, no, it needs 4 weeks. There is a conflict. Again, a very popular, in every team this happens. How are you going to deal with it? Release planning session. You give a feature, okay, these 2 features, how many stories are there? There are 10, 15, 20 stories. What stakeholders say, I need 2 features. I'm giving you 3 weeks. Team says, no, we need 6 weeks. What do? Have a release planning session. Fine. Break features into stories. Do a t-shirt sizing. So let us say those 2 features have 20 stories. Those 20 stories, if you do a t-shirt sizing, it turns out to be 100 story points. Tell them that our average is 20 stories per, this is our average velocity 20. With the same resources, same skill set, we are going to take 5 sprints. You are asking in 2 sprints. In that case, what will happen? We can, so I am telling you with the, so show them the burn down charts, show them the burn up, all those charts which you have, show them the last release epic burn down or the release burn down chart. See, this is the average. In the last release, we had 200 points. If on an average, we were doing 22 points. It took us 8 or 9 sprints. Same way, if we do, we will be able to deliver in 5 sprints. If you don't want the same behavior, then we can skip unit testing. We can skip security testing. We can skip this. But all of this, if we skip, we can do this in 2 weeks also. But if we skip all of these processes, then you may get a buggy, unstable code and customer dissatisfaction. So if we do our processes well, like we have been doing, we will take 5 sprints. Do a release planning session, explain them these things. If they are still not able to understand, then nothing you can do. This is the best you can come up with. Okay. So another, I think this 2 examples should be good enough for you. So conflict management, first step, recognize those conflicts that you have already done. Classify those conflicts, create a safe space, facilitate the discussion. I told you how to facilitate discussion. I gave you examples also. Then follow up. Once you have a conversation in any situation, then follow up. Let us say in these case where in Abhilasha's case, you have a word with the tech lead, he should not blame. Again, have a follow-up after 2 weeks, what is happening. Another 2 weeks, then again a follow-up. So you do follow-ups. And then how do you prevent conflicts? What are your strategies to avoid conflicts? Sorry, I'm covering both the high, complex things in one go, but that's fine. I'll re-explain if you are missing out something. So step 6, how they will ask you, how do you prevent? This is if a conflict has, there is a conflict, and then you will do this. How to avoid it? Having working agreements. So for example, in the daily stand-up, if people are disrespecting each other, they are interrupting. So the first daily stand-up agreement is respect all opinions. Even if you don't like somebody's opinion, you cannot run them down. So working agreement is listen to everybody, respect all opinions, no interrupting. So if Kiran is saying something, let him complete. Even though Kiran's point is invalid or not useful, that is fine. We will explain him why it is not fine. And if you cannot respect each other in a professional setup, then it will be very difficult for you to grow in corporate environment. Hey, if I am disrespecting everybody, at some point or the other, management is going to recognize it and stop my growth. So it is not in the interest of anybody to be behaving like this. Okay. So working agreements to in every situation. How if developer says this bug is invalid, QA says it is valid, invalid versus valid bug, let's have a working agreement. If this is the case, how are you going to handle it? Step 1, developer, QA, PO, let's have a call. So let the QA lead and the dev lead and the architect and PO, if after discussion people agree, great. If they don't agree, then let QA manager, dev manager and architect take a call. Do we all agree? Yes, these are senior folks. We can use them as tiebreakers. Sometimes they will make a mistake. Out of 100 bugs, 90 bugs we'll get it right, but one bug here and there we will get it wrong, and that's okay. Then second, team working agreements is one technique. Second, psychologically safe environment. How do you do that? That I have already told you. Then clear-cut boundaries. So as a Scrum Master, what are your tactics or strategies or techniques that you use to avoid conflict in the team? I do working agreements. Working agreements on valid versus invalid bug, closure of stories, whether to close a story or a bug, DOD is there. Interruption in the DSU, this is there. People coming late in the DSU, there is a working. For every potential conflict, there is an agreement in the team. Working agreements is a way to avoid it. That is first. Then second is psychologically safe culture. As a leader, I encourage them to not to blame anybody, not to blame culture. How do you do that? I've explained. Then 3, clear-cut boundaries. What is PO's boundaries? What is SM's role? What is dev's role? What is QA's role? What is QA manager role? Each person, the responsibility is clear. Then have regular retrospectives. If regular retrospectives are happening, then people will voice out their concerns every week. So these are the 4 ways through which you can avoid conflicts in a team. So to summarize, how do you deal with conflicts? Recognize the conflicts early, classify the conflicts, create a safe environment, facilitate a discussion. Then how do you avoid, and then of course do a follow-up. Then how do you avoid conflicts? These are 3 or 4 methods of avoiding conflicts. Is this clear to everybody? And of course, documentation of conflicts. If there is a major conflict, document it. There was a disagreement on this. This is what method we follow to avoid it. This is the future learning for this. Then again, so let us say Kiran and Omkar had a conflict on valid and invalid bug. No problem. Whatever was done, documented. And next time when there is a conflict, show them, okay, this was a conflict. This was invalid, valid conflict. This we took 2 days. This is what we find out. And then what we agreed was that everybody will have a discussion, and this is the process which will follow. Can you guys follow it, or you want a change in the process? Let them, most likely they will say, yes, we will follow the process. Or if there is a change in process, what is the change? Let them update the document. So these are 6 or 7 ways of handling conflict management. In your experience, there is a clear structure. Over a number of years, talking to my agile coaches, working with various organizations, this is the process we follow. Is this the greatest ever method? No. In my experience, this is a method which has been working very well. But if in your organization there are certain other techniques and tools which you have been using and those are effective, I will incorporate those into my strategy and use those also. In these behavioral kind of questions, never say your approach is best in the world. Nobody is God. In my experience, this has worked. In your experience, in something else has worked, we will use your best practices also. Is this clear? Basically, they want to see whether you are egoistic or not. You cannot be egoistic. No, my method is the best. No, my method has worked so far, but if there is any other best practice that is happening, I am willing to incorporate that. Is this clear? Okay, so conflict management and stakeholder management, 6-7 steps, both are done. In your interview, you can go through these steps. Go through these sessions, revise it, and then we'll have a detailed discussion on this, whether you have any doubts or not. I did the talking, so because I wanted to go through these steps. Next time, you guys, I will ask you guys, and then you can give me your answers, and then we can adjust your answers. Is this good? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Venkatesh.
Sir, today I got the offer letter, sir.
Arey, you could have told me earlier. I would have more energy.
Sir, today's topic is very nice, so I don't want to disturb that actually, sir. The company is very nice. It's a leadership role, sir, basically. The It's a IT section leader oblique Scrum leader. I have to manage Scrum masters actually.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm very, very happy.
Thank you very much, sir.
So I hope you will give me a good video testimonial.
I will, sir. I will.
So, but I'm very happy. Very, very happy.
Thank you, sir.
And this will act as a motivation for all of us.
Yes, sir.
This is very good.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very good.
Many congratulations.
Thank you, Abhilasha. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and good job.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Sir, actually, this is my first interview. Actually, this was my first interview after 20 years. Actually, first one interview I failed, but this interview is really I taught a big lesson. Actually, this is a panel interview, sir. 6 members have entered me actually total, two in 3 sessions, and basically the leadership questions and scenario based questions, question after question. Maybe they asked me 15 to 20 questions actually. I drank 2 glasses of water in the interview. Even the interviewer said that, okay, we asked you so many questions. So that's what actually. The company is good here, sir.
Nice. But do not stop giving interviews.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You can even get better offer than this.
Right, sir.
It is when you are already in a good position, that's when the best packages you can get. So now you don't have to worry about anything, right? You will go with a fearless approach in the next interviews. And you can ask anything in the next interview. Outrageous money. If they give you, great. If not, then you already have an option. This is the best time to make money.
Yes, sir.
Normally, people, if they are so happy after clearing an interview, they stop. No, boss. When you clear the interview, that's when you will get another job. कोई भगवान का प्यारा क्या पता कितने पैसे दे जाए, दे दो.
हाँ सर. Yes.
अरे इतनी महंगाई है, क्या पता क्या लिखा है तुम्हारे लिए भगवान ने, दे दो इंटरव्यू और ले लो पैसे. When you have, see, now you are in nothing to lose. नहीं होगा next interview, नहीं होगा. You are already in a good position. This is the best time to cash in.
Right, sir.
Put in even more effort. Yep.
Right.
Sorry, this is how world works, right? We are in capitalism, extreme greed. This is what I have to teach. So,
obviously, that's correct. Actually.
Sorry, but I have to be like this only. See, and I've seen people getting complacent after one, and then they say, yaar, we couldn't get 2x of our salary because you stopped. Don't stop. What is the worst case now? 11. You will not clear any other interview. Fine, you've already cleared one. But what if you better than this? So, okay, and you are going to get more information, right? You will learn safe, you will learn so many other things. You will be better off in your next interviews.
Right, sir.
Okay, but again, very many congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very, 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 very good. Very happy. It is very satisfying for me also, and it is motivating for others that.
Sir, actually, truth saying, sir, this class has really helped me a lot, actually. And you, especially you, the way you teach, na, sir, the same it reciprocated. I reciprocated to the interview team as well. So they are listening. That means they are having interest in it. So the topic is what is the context is what is important there. So actually, everyone teaches, but the way someone teaches that will hit the heart actually. So that's what I really feel, sir. And thank you very much, sir. I have to thank you very much for that actually.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
सर को लेके हम लोग पार्टी करते हैं उधर आते
सर सर मैं पॉन्डरंग सर को भी बोलूंगा नहीं क्योंकि इनका भी इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस मेरे को बहुत हेल्प हुआ है। हम दोनों बातें करते रहते जनरली।
Good. That's nice. That is nice. And this is good. Yeah, this is good. Good, yeah, good. Which means, see, I keep telling you guys, market is there for the right candidates. It is still there. How you can be the right candidate? By practicing. Give more and more interviews. 20 interviews if you give. If you crack within 5 interviews, that's a great thing. But 20 in your mind, it should be 20. 20 interviews, 100% 2 or 4 offer letters. Okay, already 10:30. I have another engagement now. So, but this is good. I'll just do a quick poll and then we'll see each other tomorrow. Okay.
Sir, I have sent my resume to your Gmail ID.
I
Could you please review it once?
Yes, 100% I will check. Okay. Venkatesh sir, more and more. One
थैंक
more.
यू। यस सर,
Okay.
और एक इंटरव्यू है सर।
Good.
वेर है सर उसका भी।
Good, good, good.
राइट सर।
Okay, but all rest of you, please, yeah, please give your mock interviews and then, of course, real-time interviews. Don't skip your mock interviews, okay? Don't make me use those bullets and kill you, please.
I also say to the team, sir, actually this mock interview really helped me a lot. Because they give a even Abhilasha maybe no, she has given the interview. No, Abhilasha ask for the video session of your recording. They will provide you the video recording, so you can assess yourself and you can see how the way you speak and what actually you are. It's just like a mirror actually, and
Yes.
they will also give the report to you. That will be report in the marks kind of a thing where you can just see where you are actually. In my
Yeah, I got that.
you got that, na? You
Hmm.
can even ask for the video session of that actually.
Okay.
That will be very helpful to you.
Hmm.
And everyone, please give the mock interviews, as sir said.
Yes. Because whatever you are learning, you have to practice it in a real-time environment. But if you practice enough, you'll get through. Okay, yeah, have a nice and
Sir,
then we'll.
one thing. Actually,
Yes.
I got one thing in feedback. Like I need to add more and more examples, real life.
So you note when I'm giving examples, you note down these examples. In any case, I think probably within this week,
Mhm.
I'm preparing one list of examples that you guys can. I'll give you that cheat sheet also. Okay. But if you look at the blockers list, in each of the blockers list, there are examples.
Mhm.
Similarly, in each of the agile principles list and there are each of the principles and values example are there. So 16 examples are there plus 20 examples are there in blockers. You already have 35 examples. Go through these. Yes. Okay. And one thing for Venkatesh sir, I have to say, he has never missed a class. Maybe one here and there, but he's always been there, right on time, asked questions, listened very carefully, and that is the recipe. You have to be interested in something, you will get it. He's interested. That's the bottom line. So how are you interested? You have to be there in every session, make notes, listen carefully, practice it. You'll get it. Okay. Okay, yaar, have
Sir,
fun.
Sir,
Yes.
one question actually. Okay, sorry. Okay, sir. Someone actually asking, no, SAP knowledge is there. Have you handled project? I mean, SAP project or Salesforce project? Then what they are going to ask actually
Okay.
about
Uh,
as a Scrum Master? Yeah.
okay. Okay. So which domain you want to find out? Which is your domain? Originally.
Insurance domain.
Insurance. So ideally, you should say insurance. Now, let us say you want to specifically get into SAP. So I can give you certain questions on SAP or Salesforce, and you can practice it.
Okay.
But it is beyond the scope of this class to teach you Salesforce basics or SAP basics. But I can show you, I can give you some questions, and that could be your guide. And I can tell you if you want to fake that experience, how to fake that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
am a perfection artist. Okay, don't
Okay,
worry.
because I got two call actually for
Hmm.
SAP. So I said, okay, I have handled SAP project,
Yeah,
but
if I remember tomorrow, then tomorrow. If I don't remember tomorrow, then you please remind me a couple of times tomorrow. But within this week, I will give you. What do you want? SAP or you want
SAP,
Salesforce?
SAP, Salesforce is okay actually. That is
Can you
Salesforce.
share the both SAP and Salesforce? Even I do
Okay.
need it.
Okay. I will give
Even
the
I have worked
guide.
in SAP, but I don't have that complete.
I will give you SAP and Salesforce questions that
Okay.
potentially. Okay. But I cannot prepare you because those
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
okay. Okay. Then take care, guys. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.